don't talk to no one. Not my best friend at the time, or right now. I don't talk to her about it fully. I don't talk to my mom about it. I just keep it to myself because there's too many things in my head going on. And my name is Pamela. I was one of Claudia's best friends. I met her when we were in 4th grade.
One thing remained the same during Claudia Lucero's short life. From birth to childhood to her early teen years, her warmth was felt by everyone she loved. At 14, she had become a vibrant personality who enjoyed dancing, fashion, and makeup.
She just made everyone feel comfortable. She was the life of the party, always making people laugh. Her laugh was super infectious. She was such a kind soul. To this day, I haven't met someone who's so unique how she was, and so kind and vibrant, full of life and family-oriented.
A popular freshman at Westwood High School in Mesa, but family was everything. Joanne Lucero was a single mom of 4, raising Rick, Mark, Claudia, and Jacob.
She was very caring, thoughtful, always had a smile on her face.
Claudia was last seen by her family around 6:30 on the morning of December 5th, 2013, getting ready for school. But Claudia never showed up to school that day.
She was supposed to meet up with a friend after school. The friend had called me after I got off of work and went to the office and stuff. The friend had called me and told me that she never showed up.
Claudia was a student at Westwood High School in Mesa. Her fellow students very upset.
I knew people who had classes with her, and they were just shocked.
The front door to the Lucero apartment was locked. There was no sign of a break-in, and Claudia's belongings were still there.
I drove around looking for her, calling friends, family. So I decided to wait a little while to see, maybe she'll pop up at home. She didn't, so I called the cops, waited for them to come, and they had called, and I had reported her as a runaway because I thought, a couple of things were missing. I thought she had ran away.
When she called me and she told me that, I thought it was weird because whenever something would happen and Claudia didn't, she would come to me and she would be like, can I stay with you at your house?
And that morning, I had told her, I love you, I'll see you later, because I always tell my kids, before bed or before I would go to work, I would always say, I love you. And that's what I told her.
Police say Claudia Lucero had last been seen by her family at 6:30 a.m. Thursday.
911 emergency.
Hi, we have an emergency. I think we found a dead body in the dumpster.
Okay, what's the address?
860 East Brown Road.
There was something on the news about finding a body. And then when I got to the apartment with the boys, the detective had told the boys that they had found her deceased.
When her mom told me that she was no longer with us, and I just started just wailing at the top of my lungs, and I fell to the floor. And her brother tried to console me, but it was very, very hard. And the pain doesn't go away, and it never will, but she just didn't deserve that.
Mesa police say 2 women discovered the body while dumpster diving for cans. We spoke to one of the women who declined to be interviewed on camera, but she says she was standing inside the dumpster when she felt something strange beneath her feet.
I heard the noise, and I get up to look, and I see the lights, and then I see the police, and I see them taking out this big square thing, and I thought it was a bomb.
My name's Farrell Swope. I'm a retired death investigator for the Maricopa County Medical Examiner's Office, where I served for nearly 18 years. There's very few people in the world that did what I did for my career. But like I say, I feel like it was the most important thing I ever did in my life. And so we pulled up in here, me and my partner, and then while this was going on, there was one detective inside the dumpster, and there was a couple of crime scene specialists. They had all the stuff they were pulling out. It was all laid out right here. There was a large Tupperware container. There was a bunch of personal belongings that they believed had been taken from the scene. So they had that stuff out there. And then there was a detective inside the dumpster processing stuff when I got there.
We're looking at the spot where Claudia Lucero was found.
This is definitely the spot. I won't forget it.
It's just like hard to believe that someone would actually get her body and just throw her in the trash.
Claudia's body was located 2 miles away from where she lived. The community would be shaken as classmates thought about how that could be them.
It hurts, you know, because it's my sister and everyone's here to support her, which makes me happy.
The suspect, when he dumped the body in the dumpster, he pulled the trunk liner out of his car and threw that in there with the body. Well, the liner had a tag on it which identified what kind of car it came out of. So they wanted to get to that car.
Police arrested Alex Madrid on an unrelated case, a probation violation. At the time, he was 31 and was a person of interest in Claudia's murder before leading officers on a short car chase. Through a search warrant, police learned that his trunk was missing the gray liner that had been discovered in the dumpster.
Madrid is behind bars on suspicion of sexually assaulting and strangling 14-year-old Claudia Lucero, disposing of her body in a dumpster.
I cannot possibly imagine or conceive the feelings of the Lucero family today.
Madrid was the ex-boyfriend of Joanne Lucero. He was around the family a lot, and there were red flags.
He had told me that he had feelings for an ex of his still, so that's why he couldn't be there or be with me. He came and got his things and he left.
Madrid's criminal history was lengthy, in and out of prison since the year 2000. Convictions ranged from burglary to theft to aggravated harassment. He had just been released from prison in the summer of 2013 before getting into a relationship with Joanne.
I have a great job. I work my butt off. I have children to take care of. All my ties are here in Arizona. You know, there's no reason to believe that I would, you know, not show up for court. I have no failure to appears. You know, I've always shown up to court despite how much time I was facing. You know, despite any of the things that were going on in my past, I've always stood up and took responsibility for whatever was going on.
Looking back at Claudia's case, so many questions linger. In journalism, we don't always get the answers, but we never stop searching. Beyond the headlines and the arrest, why Claudia? What signs were missed? So much so that her life was discarded in the trash. This was no way to die. At Mesa PD, I get the chance to review the police report on her murder. Doctors said that Claudia had been strangled to death, probably by means of ligature.
They found her school ID in the dumpster, and they showed me some pictures of her Facebook page. The issue was, at the time, she was wrapped in a quilt, which was over her head, or like a comforter style blanket, which was over her head, and her face, you couldn't see it. It was secured with, I believe it was a leather belt that was secured around her neck, so you couldn't actually see her face.
Inside the gray container, there was a brown purse, school ID, pink pair of sweats, purple underwear, socks, and t-shirts. Evidence showed that Claudia was sexually assaulted, but there were no signs of defense wounds. She was listed as a first-time runaway, despite never running away.
These are difficult cases for all of us. It brings a community out in support of a family. It makes us all think and worry about our own. And it is difficult for a police department to release all information as it may compromise the case.
The dumpster was crucial, a day away from being emptied.
If that dumpster would have got picked up, then Claudia could have been a missing person forever. Once the exam was complete and they submitted the DNA samples that they collected from her body, within a matter of days, it was the results came back, and it was game over for Alex Madrid.
Madrid's phone signal registered to a cell tower in the vicinity of where Claudia was found in that dumpster. Before his arrest, Madrid texted with Joanne. The suspect, texting the victim's mother in a reassuring tone. But Madrid was a predator with a dark past, and Claudia confided in friends that she was afraid of him.
I didn't see anything, and I was always working. I was tired. I didn't pay attention, to what was going on. And, that's in part why I feel the way I do,
I remember telling her vividly, I don't care, I have to tell my mom. And she would just beg and plead me not to. At the time as well, I was also being molested. So when she told me, please don't tell anyone, I fell for her because I also didn't want to tell anyone. Even though I knew it was wrong, I listened to her. But that's one of my biggest regrets to this day.
Court records in 2008 reveal a case of aggravated harassment by Madrid. He kidnapped an ex-girlfriend and kept her with him for 7 days, threatening to kill her family if she left. When she did get out, she had bruises on her arms and legs.
I'm Rachel Mitchell, Maricopa County Attorney.
How difficult is it when a case takes as long as it does to get to trial? And you've got victims' families who are growing frustrated and impatient.
When we sit down with the family and say we're considering seeking the death penalty, to me that's a contract with the family. You're saying to them, this is going to be a long time process, and please, hang in there with us. And it's so emotional for them.
It's been horrible, because I never got the chance to really grieve the loss of my daughter. Every year there was something new that would pop up, and we thought, okay, this year's going to be the year it's going to happen, and then you get that phone call like, no, it's not going to happen, it's pushed out. And that would happen every year. It was heartbreaking because that's a long 11 years that it took to finally get the justice. I feel like in my heart it should have been done a lot sooner, but having to relive it every year, it's painful, it's painful.
I just felt like with the kind of case it was so concrete, so solid, so everything was in place that it should have been pretty simple.
In Arizona, death penalty cases require aggravating circumstances to be proven beyond a reasonable doubt. What are common examples of aggravating circumstances?
Aggravating circumstance, an example would be somebody's criminal history or whether they committed other serious offenses at the same time. So, for example, if 2 people are killed versus 1 person. Another example would be if the victim was made to suffer. They suffered, they knew that they were going to die.
The medical examiner says she'd been strangled and sexually assaulted, and prosecutors say Madrid was linked to the crime through DNA.
And you will find that there is no other appropriate verdict in this case but guilty.
It was on my mind heavily, like, am I gonna bawl my eyes out? Like, I was scared, I was nervous to see him. But the moment I saw him, I was just full of rage again. And I fought every cell in my body not to attack him, not to scream at him, just full of rage.
Trial lasted 27 days. For Claudia's loved ones, it was traumatic and mentally exhausting to be reminded of horrific details. Prosecutors presented the case arguing that the evidence of semen found on Claudia matched to the DNA sample from Madrid.
When you look back on this, I mean, how tragic is the evidence in her story?
It's heartbreaking. All of it is tragic, but you know, I guess maybe because of my background as a sex crimes prosecutor and a child crimes prosecutor, obviously when it's a child or young person who is, their life is cut so short and in such a horrific way, obviously that resonates.
The sentencing phase begins next Wednesday. The jury will decide whether Madrid will be put to death or get life.
After being found guilty, the penalty phase followed to decide if Madrid would be sentenced to death.
You know, it's not a situation where it's a joyous event or anything like that. It's a somber event. It feels right. It feels like justice has been achieved. But, I mean, what we wouldn't give, what the family wouldn't give for this never to have gotten to this point. It feels like the right resolution, but it's not anything to celebrate.
I want you to look at that picture of a sweet, adorable little boy and consider how that child ended up being the killer and, quite frankly, asshole who you've been dealing with throughout this trial. Because killers and assholes aren't born that way. They're the product of their environment. They're the product of their life experiences.
The defense broke down Madrid's trauma, brain damage, and rough childhood. At 8 years old, he witnessed his uncle shot and killed in front of him. His lawyer said he had been abused and neglected in the foster care system and suffered from mental illness and PTSD. The purpose was to provide mitigating reasons for the jury to choose a life sentence rather than death. But prosecutors countered, and victims gave impact statements.
No matter how old I am, no matter where I'm at, I will always grieve Claudia. She holds a very special place in my heart.
It destroys me to know that I will never get another letter or hear her say I love you, Mom or Mommy. If I could go back in time, I would have made better choices, but I can't. And now I have to live with that pain and guilt for the rest of my life.
There's people waiting, family waiting for some kind of justice here, and this has taken a really long time. You were hoping, you know, for their sake, that this would be over someday, you know, and now it finally is.
Verdict. We, the jury, duly impaneled and sworn in the above entitled action, upon our oaths, unanimously find that the defendant should be sentenced to death. Signed by the foreperson, juror number 8. Is this your true verdict? So say you one and all.
Yes. Yes.
Madrid sentenced to death, but was given the chance to speak to the court and Claudia's family.
I just want to thank you guys. I know I thought you were going to go back there, take 10 minutes, come to your decision, and it shows me that at least you guys thought about what this was. I know it probably wasn't easy on any of you guys. Joanne, I'm sorry.
Mark Ricky Jacob. Sorry. I hope you find it in your heart to forgive me. One day.
I really want him to suffer. I don't know. It's hard for me to say. I'm happy he got the death penalty. I'm happy he's gonna suffer. I hope he doesn't get put down for many, many, many years, so he's just waiting till the day he dies and he'll suffer till then.
What does justice truly look like? How does it feel? It's never black or white when family and friends are still broken after a death sentence.
Let's do it. And then snip it out.
I'll never forgive him. I'll never forgive myself because I'll always live with that regret of I could have done something. I could have tried harder. I could have used my voice. I could have fought for her harder. So no, the pain will never go away and I don't think I'll ever feel better about it.
This was also, in this situation, a 14-year-old girl whose life was cut short, who will never know graduating from high school, who will never know the decision to go to college or what profession or being walked down the aisle.
I just wanted it to be known how my daughter was and who she was, and she didn't deserve what she got, what he did.
At the time, my daughter was about the same age as Claudia, so it definitely hit home for me, and it just to see somebody's child thrown away like a piece of garbage.
She loved makeup, and at that time, YouTube had just started. Now, as an adult looking back, I know for a fact that she would have been a YouTuber or an influencer.
And all I have left of her is memories and photos, and I have to move on with myself and live without her now, and that breaks my heart.
The long wait for justice comes with pain. The saying, time heals all wounds, is not always true for everyone. But the quote on Claudia's headstone makes this point. Maybe it's not about the happy ending. Maybe it's about the story.